Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, the true story that terrorized Los Angeles. Imagine living in a city where every night could bring fear. Families checked every lock before going to bed. Neighbors stayed awake listening for unusual sounds. Across Los Angeles, people wondered the same terrifying question: who is the Night Stalker? During the mid-1980s, a series of violent crimes left Southern California living in fear. For months, investigators searched for the person responsible while the public followed every development in the news. This is the true story of Richard Ramirez, the investigation that led to his capture, and how one of America's most notorious criminal cases finally came to an end. A city on edge. In 1984 and 1985, law enforcement agencies in Southern California began investigating a number of violent crimes that appeared to share similarities. At first, investigators were not certain whether they were dealing with one suspect or several. As more evidence was collected, detectives noticed patterns that suggested many of the crimes were connected. The investigation quickly became one of the largest and most challenging criminal investigations in the region. Meanwhile, public concern continued to grow. News reports covered the investigation almost every day, and many residents increased security around their homes. Following the evidence, investigators worked around the clock. Crime scene specialists examined physical evidence from multiple locations. Detectives interviewed witnesses, compared reports, and carefully reviewed every lead. Rather than relying on a single clue, the case was built piece by piece through detailed investigative work. Slowly, a clearer picture of the suspect began to emerge. Eventually, investigators identified the man they believed was responsible. His name was Richard Ramirez. Once authorities released his photograph to the public, the search entered a new phase. The public joins the search. The release of Ramirez's photograph received widespread media attention. Television stations, newspapers, and radio broadcasts shared his image across California. People everywhere were watching. Then came the breakthrough. Several members of the public recognized Ramirez while he was in Los Angeles. As he attempted to escape, local residents pursued him until police officers arrived. He was taken into custody without being able to flee. The months-long manhunt was finally over. The trial. Following his arrest, prosecutors presented evidence collected during the investigation. The trial attracted national attention and lasted for several years. Jurors heard testimony from investigators, forensic experts, and witnesses as the evidence was presented in court. At the conclusion of the trial, Richard Ramirez was convicted on multiple charges. He remained on death row in California until his death in prison in 2013 from complications related to cancer. The legacy of the case. The Night Stalker investigation remains one of the most well-known criminal cases in American history. It demonstrated the importance of forensic science, cooperation between law enforcement agencies, and assistance from the public. The case is still studied today because it shows how patience, evidence, and teamwork can eventually solve even the most difficult investigations. It also serves as a reminder of the lasting impact violent crime can have on victims, families, and entire communities. The story of Richard Ramirez is remembered not because of the crimes themselves, but because of the determination of investigators, forensic specialists, and ordinary citizens who helped bring a lengthy investigation to an end. If you found this documentary informative, consider liking the video and subscribing for more carefully researched true crime stories based on verified historical events. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next documentary.